Hi, this is Robert O'Reilly. My name is Gowron. Honor to you and your house. You're listening to Trek FM.
Earl Grey hot.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Earl Grey, Trek FM's dedicated podcast to the next generation. I'm your host, Richard Marquez, and joined with me is Amy Nelson and Lee Hutchison. Hello, guys. How you doing today?
Fabulous.
Not too bad.
Today's episode, we're going to be discussing about plans for the next generation for its 30th anniversary and where we would like to go. And we would also like to know what your guys' ideas are. What would you like us to do in the new year? And any kind of questions or anything like that. So let's hear what everyone else has to say. Lee, what do you think and what do you want to hear about the 30th anniversary and also for next year?
Yeah, two things I'm really keen to bring to the show in the 30th anniversary is one part really from me behind the scenes doing the podcast, and another is the amazing amount of people that listen to this show and contribute towards the discussion. From my point of view, I really want to go back to the making of The Next Generation. What was it like in those early days making Next Generation, getting it onto the screen? What was it like going to Gene Roddenberry? Let's get this show created. There's so much information out there, and I'd love to bring it to you guys' attention that there are books, documentaries, all these things, and I've got so much access to it, and I'm so passionate about it. And I've got some really interesting and unique ideas of how I want to explore the creation of The Next Generation. So kind of over the year, I think maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months, I'm going to try and bring you a kind of making of primer behind the scenes of The Next Generation in those early days, and try and do it in a fun and exciting way. I don't want to play my hand too early about things I've got planned, but I think some of this could be really interesting, and I'm really excited to bring that to you. In terms of what I'd like you guys to do, and I think this is something we're going to probably kick off soon, is I want to hear your voices here in this podcast. I've always said it that we're lucky to be in this position that we can podcast to Star Trek fans all around the world. And sometimes the Babel Conference is the only place that you guys can feedback your love of The Next Generation. So, to the fans of Trek FM, to fans of Earl Grey, send us through the contact form, or we'll drop you an email to send it to, but send us a 1 or 2 minute long audio clip of why you love The Next Generation. Maybe a special memory, a special episode, something that Next Generation's 30th makes you think of. And we're going to try and put them at the end or the beginning of the episode. We haven't decided on that part yet, but we want to hear a special memory, a special moment, something that the 30th anniversary really evokes in you. And we're going to put it maybe at the beginning of the show, the end of the show. We haven't kind of decided on that part yet, but I want to hear your guys' voices out there on our podcast. And we're going to maybe, hopefully, if we get enough of them in, one a week on the podcast, where we get to share your love of The Next Generation with all these amazing listeners, with all the fans on Trek FM, and make sure that the 30th anniversary, that's not just our voices being heard on what makes The Next Generation special, but it's you, the fans. So that is what I would love to do for the 30th, and what I'm excited to be in this position on The Next Generation podcast at this special birthday, because it's my 30th as well in 2017, so my birthday is so linked in with The Next Generation, so it's a special year for us all. So that's what I hope to bring, and I hope you're excited by these plans as well. So I'm going to put a thing up on the Babel Conference about how you can submit your audio clips, but I think it's going to be a great chance to hear you guys on this show.
I agree. I think those are two very, very good points. And I am looking forward to expanding my knowledge on the beginnings and the makings of The Next Generation. He's already got me reading this book by Michael Piller, and I am enjoying it. I've been taking notes and looking forward to when we talk about the making of Insurrection, because I can tell it's going to be very good. And there's a lot of points. It might be a part 1 and part 2, I can see there's a lot in there. Lee, what you were saying, I wanted to get the listeners more involved as well. I don't know if you listen to Melodic Treks, but Brandon, the host, He was at Star Trek Las Vegas for the big 50th, as was I, and I got to meet him. He did a fabulous thing. He went around and he was recording people and what's your favorite music on Star Trek. And I would really like to, use my position, if you will, as a host when I go to, because I will be going to Star Trek Las Vegas, and to get more participation that way and ask people what are their favorite episodes, and, sort of have that. Like you were saying, to do maybe a little mini episode and talk to the fans about their love of Next Generation, since it will be the 30th. And I'm sure that Creation will do something amazing. I was looking forward to doing that, although it is far off in August, but the build up to that would be fabulous. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
What I'm doing for the 30th is that we've got a couple of Comic-Cons that I'm going to around the country, and something what the missus and I do, we're actually going to travel more often. I mean, we stay within the confines of Denver quite a bit and, travel within the state. But I mean, we definitely want to go around and meet the entire cast of TNG, because I really didn't. I spent more time socializing with everyone that was there. Amy, Norman, and also Brandon as well, quite a bit. We were at the Masquerade Bar quite a bit.
Zach and Ken.
And Ken, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. But one of the things that I told Jennifer was that I wanted to focus more on the panels more than anything. So anywhere where I could find a Star Trek writer. There was a writer that came up to the Cheyenne Comic-Con, and I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he was a writer on TNG, and I really wanted to go up and meet him and talk Star Trek with him in a panel or whatnot, but I never got a chance to do that. So yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing.
That would be very good. I would like to see you talk to the writers, because it's funny, because like I've been to now the Las Vegas convention a couple years now, and I've definitely seen the panels, and it's like, well, what were you thinking when da-da-da? Well, these are the actors. I would be interested to see what the writers were thinking, because they're the ones who are putting the whole episode together. So that would be interesting. I hope you can do that for us.
I do have a potential writer in the works, so stick with us in 2017. We might be able to deliver you one of the behind the scenes writers for the Next Generation. So there's a plug to stay tuned to Earl Grey.
If you guys have any comments or questions, go ahead, post on the Debatable Conference under Lee's post, and we can definitely answer those, feature you on our show.
You know what I'm also looking forward to, and I hope that they do, because sometimes do you remember, Richard? Like sometimes they had episodes playing on the big screen. Like they showed Best of Both Worlds on the big screen. I think it was like 4 years ago for some reason.
Are you talking about like in the theater or something like that?
Yeah.
They do that at my local theater here. I mean, they do more Star Wars and all the, It's a Wonderful Life and, Miracle on 34th Street kind of movies, depending on the season. But my local theater during the daytime, and it's usually for senior citizens, but they do episodes of Star Trek as well.
Well, I hope to see that. I remember it was Fathom events. I mean, it was...
That's exactly who does it.
The reason they stopped doing the movie events at the cinema, which we didn't... We actually got the Menagerie. They showed that in a UK cinema one night. But the reason they stopped the Next Generation events in American cinemas was because of like contracts and stuff like that. Like certain things were written into contracts. So like you were putting a movie up on the big screen, which meant certain people had to get certain money, or things were coming into dispute. It was like a really boring contractual agreement to do with things like extras and blah blah blah. That's the kind of the boring answer about why you can't see the Next Generation back on the big screen.
I'll have to look into that, because I haven't seen that in a very long time. I guess in this day and age, not many people are going to go out just to see, an episode of like Star Trek or something like that. But
I would.
Well, we're different.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like making money, because like
I would also like to see more of the toys and the collectibles come out for Next Generation.
I agree.
For their 25th, I picked up the PEZ set that was at my local gas station.
I actually got it in Las Vegas last year. There's an amazing toy shop in Old Las Vegas. I can't remember what it's called. It's right next to Heart Attack Grill or something along those lines.
I know what you're talking about. Yep, I've been there. Yep.
Yeah, there's a toy shop there, and I always wanted the Star Trek PEZ dispenser set, and we don't get it in the UK. And I went into that toy shop and had First Contact toys, which I bought, and I then saw the PEZ dispenser set, and I grabbed it, hugged it, and paid for it. And I then left, and I brought that back all the way from Las Vegas. So I also have the PEZ dispenser set. So
there you go.
I don't have the PEZ dispenser set, so...
I have TOS and TNG PEZ, so...
Well, talking about the plans of the 30th anniversary of the Next Generation isn't the only topic we've been talking about here on the network. Here's a quick look at what you might have missed elsewhere on Trek FM.
You can listen to every show on the network at Trek.fm with links for iTunes, streaming services, and a direct download. This episode of Earl Grey is brought to you by Audible.com. Audible is always expanding with over 150,000 titles to choose from. There are classics, current bestsellers, and famous Star Trek books like Prime Directive and Federation. Audible has something for everyone. Now, as a Trek FM listener, you can get a free audiobook of your choice along with a 30-day trial to try out Audible yourself. So give it a try today. Catch up on all those classic Star Trek books you've yet to read. To support Trek FM, visit audibletrial.com/TrekFM and sign up today. Again, that's audibletrial.com/TrekFM. Thank you, Audible, for supporting Earl Grey and Trek FM. If you are a weekly listener and would like to directly help Earl Grey, please consider becoming a patron of Trek FM. At patreon.com/TrekFM, you can choose a pledge level and receive rewards for becoming a Trek FM patron. They've really done a lot recently to boost up and give you lots of rewards, so we would appreciate your donation. We would like to take this moment to thank our current Patreon associate producers, Stephen Boyd, Michael Huter, and Ron Sarna. Thank you for supporting Earl Grey. Connect with other Trek FM listeners on our Facebook discussion group called The Babel Conference, found through the Facebook search field, or like the facebook.com/TrekFM page for show updates and announcement. The network is also on Twitter at TrekFM. If you would like to contact Lee, Richard, or myself, visit trek.fm/contact to send us a subspace message or find us on social media. So Lee, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me at Lee_Nostromo on Twitter. You can find me at Star Trek VHS, sharing artwork from Star Trek The Next Generation and so on. And you can find me on my own podcast, Filibuster, talking about nerd and geek culture and everything in between.
And they could find me on the Babel Conference as well as on Twitter at XRansom. Amy?
And yes, I'm also on Twitter at Miss Amy Nelson, but my favorite place is the Babel Conference on Facebook.
Join us next time for another cup of Earl Grey.
Until then, great joy and gratitude.
There was a young lady from Venus.
Today is a good day to die.